Welcome to the Medical Stories podcast, where we speak with leading experts, advocates, and those living with challenging conditions who share their real-life medical stories, hopes and optimism, and harrowing accounts of trials through adversity. The Medical Stories podcast is produced by Inventi Media Group, the team behind the multi-Emmy award-winning documentary series Medical Stories, airing nationwide on public television and available for online audiences at medicalstories.tv. The following audio story has been extracted from our television series episode titled Sickle Cell Disease, Walter's Story, and has been reformatted for your optimal listening experience. In this episode, we will hear from Walter, his mother, Veronica, and Dr. Wally Smith, Florence Neal Cooper Smith, Professor of Sickle Cell Disease at Virginia Commonwealth University. We hope you enjoy the story.
I live here in beautiful Virginia, central Virginia, in a small town called Colonial Heights, not too far from the capital of Richmond. I like to work out, paint, do music. I'm just a creative individual. I think that maybe comes from all the pain I've suffered, just I have to express myself outwardly. The first time I can remember me having anything serious happen was when I was 3 years old, and I still remember it like to this day. My name is Walter, and I've been diagnosed with sickle cell disease.
Sickle cell disease was named by the shape of the red blood cells, which define the presence of the disorder. They're shaped like a garden sickle. That's how the disease got its name. Red blood cells are normally donut-shaped. They carry oxygen all the way from the heart and the lung to the periphery. One single genetic defect causes a reshaping of the hemoglobin molecule, which does two things. Makes it not able to carry oxygen, and then secondly, it makes it able to form strings, polymers, or crystals inside of a red blood cell once the oxygen leaves. That's devastating because that means anywhere that process occurs, you have no oxygen going to those cells or downstream from the blood vessels where the vaso-occlusion occurs. And that's a problem because not only does vaso-occlusion happen, but it wakes up inflammation. It wakes up all kinds of other biological catastrophes.
I was like 3 years old and my stomach was really hard. My mom was pressing on it and she called my dad in the room and was like, hey, his stomach is really hard, like come feel this. And I vividly remember them pressing like hard on my stomach.
It was heartbreaking. The doctors down at Duke University said that his spleen was no longer working for him and that he would have to have it removed. I had no idea that sickle cell was so severe. He had to have a splenectomy at the age of 3, and that was his first crisis.
This is like heart attack, stroke, combined with clotting, combined with just pure red blood cell occlusion of small vessels, so that when this happens, the patient goes into what's called a crisis. It used to be called sickle cell anemia, and we've gone away from talking about only the anemia. Anemia is lack of red blood cells or low red blood cells, but not every patient is anemic. It's a disease of organ failure and low oxygen. The sickle cell problem occurs in a place where you need oxygen. Patients are in pain, and they're in pain from almost 6 months of age till the end of life.
When I was first born, my mom said that the doctors told them that I had sickle cell disease. She had me retested at the age of 1, and it came back that I had sickle cell trait. So in turn, when I had Walter and the screening came back that he had sickle cell disease, I waited till he was 1.5 and had him retested. And it did come back that he did have the disease.
My younger sister also has it, but it's crazy how this disease works because although me and my sister have the exact same diagnosis, our pain crises are totally different in different areas of our body. Some of the symptoms I have with my disease are fatigue, lots of pain in my extremities. Anywhere blood flows, I can get a sickle cell crisis.
It was nothing but devastation for me to know that I then have to raise 2 kids with this disease. All we could do was do our best to give them the love and support that he and his sister needed.
Sickle cell disease is now very easily diagnosed in someone who is willing to give a drop of blood.
I remember missing a lot of school. I spent weeks in the hospital as a 8-year-old, as a 9-year-old, but I think I really started to shine and find my groove when I got to high school because I knew my body a little bit better. I was also homecoming king. And then out of high school, it took a turn for the worse.
Then the bottom dropped out for him. Once he left high school and grew up and started having more pain, he found that he couldn't function the way he thought anymore.
I'm at a 7 to 8 when I'm really hitting my pain. 7 to 8 as in like, that's excruciating, like I need to go to the hospital type pain.
Imagine a patient comes to you and they say, somebody's had a hammer striking my leg in the same place constantly for 4 days. And it happened last decade 30 times. Well, by now, this patient's traumatized. They're traumatized from their pain. They're traumatized because every time they show up, they have to prove it. Don't you just want opioids? Isn't that why you're really here? And so the patients are not believed when they say this is happening. You have to accept their word for it. Doctors don't like accepting the word of the patient. So the patient's traumatized from that.
And when you have medical professionals, friends, family even being like, well, are you really in that much pain? Do you really need all that pain medicine? You cannot tell anybody how to handle their pain, just like you can't tell anybody how to feel about their own emotions.
So it's a heavy, heavy psychological burden. We're talking depression, anxiety, PTSD, personality disorders, people who are suicidal, people who don't get along well with their peers, social disruption.
After my 21st, 22nd birthday is when things really started to go downhill for me mentally and physically. And it led to me having a couple suicidal attempts. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't even know. I was watching my child daily have to deal with the pain, but I didn't know that he had gotten to the point that he was ready to end his life.
He got depressed. He became suicidal because he felt this disease is going to take my life away functionally. So I might as well go ahead and finish the job.
I went unresponsive a couple times and had to Narcan me 6 times. And I came back. And just like I promised the people in my life I would come back, I'm here. With my whole life of dealing with sickle cell, I feel like it's led me to this point. I don't think coincidences happen anymore, especially just the ride I've been on the past 2 years. I'm really ready to just step into who I am and go out into this world and do what I was put here to do. And if that's to be an advocate for my disease, I will do that. If it's gonna help people that look like me or that experienced the pain that I felt, I would do that time and time again. And I realized that disease played a big role in a lot of the decisions I was making in my life.
We are very hopeful that there will come a day when patients with sickle cell disease will have a life free of pain, free of hospitalizations, and can live to be old. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
I really owe my parents a real big hug and love and kiss, especially. My dad he's in the Army. He's retired military. And maybe like 16, 17, when I really understood the sacrifice he had made for us to have the health care we needed in order to make sure we were good and actually healthy, I can't take that away from him, and I love him dearly for that. And my mom, she is a different type of breed because she's been there with me through every crisis.
I'm very hopeful for the future.
I'm just thankful for the people I have in my life that believe in me and poured love into me when I didn't have it to pour for myself.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Medical Stories podcast. Watch our show online at medicalstories.tv or listen wherever you get your podcasts.